Help? Okay, have fun. Good morning. Good morning.
Come down. Enough starting. Come down, please. This is good for the sweat state.
The cute and playful, familiar antics of these two chipmunks, along with their acrobatic prowess, turned very quickly from entertaining to downright pesky, as they continued to look for anything everywhere, that tasted good to them. But I wished I had my Ursack, my almighty Ursack, or my bear container, but I didn't at this point, so I had to hang my food, and don't feel sorry for him. I closed the bag and foiled his efforts to eat my dinner. He can go find his own dinner. Some of these roads are really incredible. One begins to feel their vulnerabilities too. When semi-trucks pass within 2 feet of you, doing whatever speed they feel like, you gotta have nerves of steel to manage highways like this one, Highway 40 or Highway 9, where the shoulders are quite commonly less than 12 inches. In fact, there were a number of places where the painted white line was half on the pavement and half on the dirt, as in no shoulder whatsoever. Hold that line. That's all you can do. Trust that the drivers will do the right thing. They don't want to hurt anybody. I assume. And I don't want to be roadkill. Steamboat Springs, the halfway, unofficially I suppose, point of the GDMBR. And right now that also means all of the heavy duty passes are behind me. So I have to stop at Steamboat Springs to get the box and effect the repairs and the maintenance. But I have to wait until there's an opening in the at KOA. And even KOA is not inexpensive at Steamboat Springs. Steamboat Springs, I think, is one of the two most expensive places I've gone through so far. KOA tent, no services, is $75 a night. Ouch. Ouch. Make it short. So behind us are Boreas Pass, Marshall Pass, Indiana Pass. All the biggies are now behind me. And different biggies are in front of me, such as the Great Basin. Sort of looking forward to that, but I'm not at all looking forward to that. It makes me think of New Mexico, and trust me, I have PTSD from New Mexico. Ugh. But I guess I met a chap who went through the Great Basin, and he said he went through it entirely at night. He said the headwinds would start up around 10-ish in the morning, 9, 10. So he'd be done by then. So he'd start pedaling in the late evening and just pedal all night long. And then camp in the daytime. So I don't think I'll do that. But if I meet significant headwinds coming through the Great Basin, I will definitely seriously consider getting up at like 2, 3 in the morning, pedaling till 9, 10, and then setting up the tent. I'm looking forward to Steamboat Springs. I'm not looking forward particularly leaving Colorado. I've really enjoyed Colorado. Colorado has just been mostly a joy to pedal through. Steamboat Springs is the last big city after that, or at least city of any consequence, on the GDMBR on the north end of Colorado. From there, it's Rollins and on into the Great Basin. But yet ahead is the one thing I have been looking forward to. Okay, there are two things, but one of the two things I've been looking forward to more than anything else on the GDMBR, and that is Aspen Alley. I don't know why, but it just, the beauty from the pictures that I've seen, I want to see that. I want to be in the midst of that. I'm looking forward to that. And the other thing is the Llama Ranch. That's a ways beyond still, but the kindness of the people, and yes, even if it is the trail that itself that encourages, requires the humane approach that we so seldom see these days, especially in large cities. It is indeed the people that make the GDMBR what it is. As we meet them, as we interact with them, as they take us in and care for us, that's what a good neighbor is. And the GDMBR is nothing but a trail of good neighbors. Good morning. And a relatively warm morning it is. We have a lovely cloud layer blanketing us, trapping in the warm air. It was pretty warm yesterday afternoon. But I'm here at basically it's a pullout. I have a hunch this was an old road because there's a section down here that's paved. And then they put a new, straighter road in. There's a number of these. There's 4 of these actually in a row. This is the first one. I haven't explored the others because I like this one, so I stopped. And it's Forest Service land, so free camping. There's a camper up above me and a camper down below me, all well spaced out. You can't even see them from here. But it's a really Nice, easy. Yeah, you can still hear the cars from the roads right there. You can still hear the cars. But safe, easy to find, right here along I-40, Highway State 40. Tomorrow is, today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday. Sunday, I will head into Steamboat Springs, get set up at the KOA, and then after that, Monday, get my box, which has new tires. My back tire, rear tire is almost bald. So this is a good as any spot, the halfway point, to change it out for a race to the finish at the border. Had a good day yesterday up over the 9,000 foot peak, Rabbit Peak, Muddy Creek Peak. I don't know which peak it was. A peak. That's what it was. It was slow going up, fast 40 miles an hour coming down to here. Found a little creek, a rivulet, creeklet, running beside, not up here, it's up beside the road, main road. So I stopped and filtered 1.5 gallons of water to last me for a couple of days while I sit here. Cheaper to sit here, it's free, than going into Steamboat Springs, where, first of all, there's no availability. KOA is completely booked up over the weekend, and most of the hotels are as well. Hotels start at about $300 a night, up to quite quickly to about $600 a night. And KOA, even for camping, no electric, no water, no nothing, is $75 a night. So $75 a night versus free. That's that's a no-brainer. And there are days where there are no brains going on this ride, I can assure you. So we'll just sit here and enjoy, get some things done, make a video, make this video. Hey, yeah. And then I'll upload it when I get the Steamboat. Looking forward to a great day right here on the GDMBR backside. I want to invite you into my office, where today I'll be editing some video. Here we go. We're going to take this little path right here. Here we are. And right here under this lovely tree, there we go. Here is my office today. Yeah. Okay. Spread out my... There. Look. There's my office. I love trees. Almost everyone I've asked why they're doing the GDMBR, almost every one of them say, well, it's challenging. I want a challenge. I'm retired. I have time. But none of those responses tell us why. That kind of gives us an idea of the circumstances, but why? The interesting thing is, we all retire at some point. But what we do with our time is a different issue. You know, some people, they join a book club. They start a book club. They garden. That's a real popular. How many people go mountain bike riding across the United States as the thing to do when they retire? Well, that's like nobody. So it seems to me that it takes a particular mindset, a particular type of character build that says, you know what? I'm going to retire and read a book while I go mountain biking the length of the United States. And I've thought a lot about that, and it occurs to me that the kind of personality who wants to do that, who does that, not just sits on and thinks about it, aside from physical limitations, but actually does that, that's the same personality built a covered wagon and headed west, out into the unknown. Not just the explorer mentality. You know, you think of Shackleton, as I mentioned in another episode, and other explorers. They put everything, including their lives, and many of them gave up their lives, to explore. Well, to what point? It's part of that personality that says, I'm going to go do something hard, difficult, full of risk. I am willing to go to the moon and back. These are the personalities that I encounter here on the GDMBR. The same people who are on this mountain bike route would be the same ones in covered wagons, exploring, populating the Wild West. The GDMBR. It's not for everyone. Only the few, only the brave.
Well, it's not good morning. It's a nice, cool, rainy, thunder evening. It's still an hour and a half till the sun goes down. Just had a strike on the hill right beside me. Oof. That makes your skin crawl and a few other things. And it's not over yet. Coy. That shook me up. I've only been that close to a lightning strike. That's the third time in my life. There's no discernible time between the flash and the sound. Ouch. Whew. It's not a boom when it's a crack. It's just this crack that just shudders through your body. The ground, I could feel underneath of me. It was like the best I could describe was like a boulder had dropped onto the ground. The ground just shuddered. Ho, 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 ho. It's going to take me a few minutes for my heart rate to return to normal. What's normal out here? Okay. I think we're back to normal. My heart sort of is. The strike was right up over there. It's probably on the other side. There's a little knoll here, then the road, then a hill beyond that there. But I'll tell you, it's unpredictable. Bang! There it is. That was enough excitement for one day. I can assure you of that. Well, tomorrow is another day. Surprise! We head on down, up, down, down. We head on down to down north, Steamboat Springs, where I will get my new tires Monday, and new stem bags, because these are just ripped to shreds just from bouncing around. Bang, bang, bounce, bounce. Everything's bang, bang now. I'm still a little shaky. And we're going to finish this race. Wait, it's not a race. Some days it feels like it, but it's not. I have to keep reminding myself of that. And the finish is just about finishing that to which I committed. That's the race. Meh. Sort of the same as life, isn't it? Coming around the corner into Steamboat, greeted by morning aerodynamics. The aeronauts in full display. Well, here's a video where I'm going to start out by saying I don't know what's going to happen next. So this morning, as I was getting ready to ride from up the pass down here to Steamboat Springs, my back slipped. Right now, I made it to Steamboat Springs. I'm at the KOA. And right now I can't ride my bike. We'll see what it feels like in the morning. This could be the end for me. This is one of the risks when one has known conditions, is that those things may cause obstacles, and you just have to deal with it. That's life. Don't always like life, but we always have to deal with it. So, I'll see you in the morning.
Good morning. Yeah, to you too. Well, so as I lay here in Steamboat Springs, it is a good morning. My head feels fine. My heart feels fine. But sad. I'm gonna bail. The risks of trying to continue with my back now having gone out, and right now I can't even get on the bike. Even if I rested for an unknown number of days at this point, possibly weeks, trying to carry on without allowing my back adequate time to heal would be a recipe for disaster somewhere in the middle of the Great Basin. I don't really want to exercise the SOS button on my Soleo, so this is it. For this year, at least. There's always other opportunities to take advantage of, and as much as I don't want to leave the trail, sometimes we just have to do what we have to do. So here we are.
I have to admit this is all quite strange. I haven't been driving a car in, nearly 3 months. And here we are. This whole ending, unplanned, unexpected, though it was a known risk factor. But you know, if you don't take risks, if you don't accept risk, and aren't prepared to deal with the ramifications of the possible outcomes of those risks, you'll never do anything. It's a risk to get out of bed. It's a risk driving a car down the road. There's a risk. We have to be willing to take that risk. And in this case, now we manage the risk of my sloppy back, I guess. You know, this reminds me of Kenny Rogers, his famous song. I think it's called Gambler. Is that right? You gotta know when to hold 'em, when to fold 'em. Know when to walk away, know when to run. There comes a point where you have to say, you know what? It's time to go. Time to do something different. Time to extricate ourselves from whatever the situation may be. That's what that song's all about. Another day. Another day. How interesting is it in life? So many things end up coming full circle. Well, here I am, full circle. I didn't make it all the way to Canada as was desired or planned. My back decided it wanted to do something different. Maybe it got bored. I don't know. But it gave out. The lightning strike was significant. Quitting, even by necessity, was more significant. Certainly wasn't my desire. Clearly wasn't my plan. And it feels a little awkward to have to bail. In some ways, I did discover why I wanted to do the GDMBR. Most people said just for the challenge, because they had time, and that's true of myself as well. But there were other reasons that I, on introspection, discovered. Those reasons will stay private at the moment, but I did have fun. It was enjoyable. It was hard. Hardly a day went by where I asked myself why I was doing what I was doing. What was my favorite part? I really enjoyed the CDT alternate down Lake Roberts. That cuts across from Lake Roberts. Boy, that was a joy. Wow, I'd do that again. I'd do that again. Northbound only, not southbound. Southbound, you'll be climbing the whole time. That wouldn't be fun. The part that was the most unpleasant, the border to the CDT alternate. I'll never forget how unpleasant that was. The heat, the lack of water, nonstop, no shade, It was difficult. And that's the mental game. You know, pedaling isn't that hard. Keeping your head in the game is. The people I met was a joy. Spending time with them, talking with them, sharing stories, even just waving as we passed in opposite directions. That was enjoyable because one shares a camaraderie even without verbalizing it with those who are sharing a common experience. And it is an experience. My kudos to all those who actually reached the border, regardless of direction, for achieving that dream, that goal, for all the effort in preparation and the effort in doing. And it leaves life not just with good memories, it leaves upon your life an indelible mark of who you are, what you can do, and the knowledge that in yourself, not just you have what it takes, you do, but that you have the backbone to get the job done. Well done. It's hard to express thoroughly how much I appreciate everybody's support and their comments. And as they saw me, my mom was absolutely a jewel. She sent me things, stopped what she was doing, packaged things up to send me, and basically at the drop of a hat. I especially appreciated those who, along the route, who didn't know me, who were strangers, who weren't even bike riders. The man in the Jeep up on Indiana Pass through Shinzel Flats. He stopped his Jeep. He'd waited for me to catch up to him. Also, he could just say to me, "You're an amazing guy." That's what he said. That gave me a lot of courage. And I appreciated that someone was willing to take the time to express to a stranger encouragement. A simple, encouraging word. That's all it takes. And it was the strangers and my fellow writers who provided the most encouraging words. That alone would almost make the trip worth it. Thanks to everyone. Perhaps next year our paths will cross again, and we can enjoy a little bit of the GDMBR together.
Now arriving at. Thank you for riding Amtrak San Joaquin's.
I want to leave you with some thoughts penned by one of my favorite young authors. She lives up in Alaska, Savannah. And this, her essay, I Found Plenty, is poignant, spot on, and quite relevant to a ride such as the GDMBR. Because on this ride, you will find plenty.
I found plenty. Seek and ye shall find. Matthew 7, verse 7. I looked for things I should have done differently. For things I shouldn't have done at all. For things I should have done later, or sooner, or slower, or more quickly. And I found plenty.
Morning.
I looked for regrets to dwell on. Mistakes to beat myself up over. Failures I had no excuse for. Opportunities squandered, for battles lost, inadequacies, defects, and blemishes to be ashamed of, and all the reasons I could never be loved, and I found plenty. I looked for dreams that had died, broken promises, failed expectations, worst-case scenarios, ambitions that turned into nothing, projects that didn't turn out, deals that went bad, trials that lasted too long, good times that didn't last long enough, and I found plenty. I looked for doubts and fears to be tortured by, cares to be burdened by, problems to be frustrated by, mysteries to be confused by, delays to be stressed by, trifles to be irritated by, and all the reasons I could never be happy, and I found plenty. I looked for reasons to be angry, bitter, and cynical, to never open my heart and trust again. I looked for people who are cold, rude, disloyal, two-faced, or shallow. For people who talk too much, or who don't communicate enough. For people who overthink, or don't think enough. For people who have too high of standards, or people who have none at all, and I found plenty. I looked for all the reasons life is sad, bad, unfair, too long, too short, too busy, too boring, or whatever, and I found plenty. And it was all so depressing. So I looked for mercies to remember, sins forgiven, broken chains, second chances, lessons learned, wounds healed, snares avoided, relationships restored, prayers answered, and I found plenty. I looked for hope, for promises to claim, reasons to try again, new leaves to turn over, renewed strength, better ideas, stronger friendships, grace sufficient for my weaknesses, and love deep enough for all my insecurities, fears, and needs. And I found plenty. I looked for songs to be sung, passions to be rekindled, dreams to be rebirthed, dark corners to brighten, ground to be regained, seeds to be planted, flowers to be picked, sunshine to bask in, sunsets to take my breath away, for starry nights that would make me feel small and God feel big, and I found plenty. I looked for beautiful moments that will only be here once, conversations that can never be reproduced or rescheduled, people who can never be replaced, people who are growing up, people who are growing old, people who have done wrong, people who have been wronged, people who are numb, people who are in pain, and I found plenty. I looked for opportunities to take risks, to teach, to grow and serve, listen and cry, touch, laugh, and love, for all the reasons to be grateful, and I found plenty.